Welcome, everyone, to Hey Kentucky. Drew, we are doing things a little differently tonight.
Obviously.
Because of a death in my family, I have to actually fly back to Kentucky, so we're taping this early. We wanted to make sure we got it in. Sponsored by Lexington Clinic and Zucker. Drew, you ready to rock?
I am very ready to rock.
We're
Let's do
going
the city.
around D.C. to see the city and talk about the news. That's next on Hey Kentucky. Welcome, everyone, to Hey Kentucky here in Washington, D.C. at the Washington Monument. Drew Franklin and I, now, as I said a minute ago from the hotel, I'm actually in Kentucky right now as you see this. So we are taping this on Monday night. So if it's not the freshest, it's okay. It's still entertaining.
It's the first nighttime edition of Hey Kentucky,
That's exactly right. And we start with the breaking news that came out right before we taped this. That Eric C. Conn was caught by the FBI in Honduras. He is scheduled to be announced about this tomorrow and extradited back to America. At the time of this taping, we don't have a ton of details, but if we have some, maybe we'll scroll them across the screen. But I have to say, I thought he'd be caught by Christmas, and then he was. The American government got their man.
You know what Eric C. Conn did to those people in Eastern Kentucky is awful. I mean, it was criminal, obviously. But for some reason, and maybe it makes me a bad person, but I found myself kind of rooting for him. Kind of like it was a movie almost.
You know, there's something to that. And look,
like a hide and go seek.
He defrauded the government. He defrauded people. He is not, I'm saying, a good person. But there was something about the fact that he was able to elude the government. You don't think that's possible in today's day and age. You think there's no way that in 2017 that could happen. Now, they found him in Honduras. We don't know the specifics of the situation he was in. But I have to say, in some ways, it's also amazing that once he got there, that he was able to be caught. He was probably in somewhere rural in Honduras.
And he deserves everything coming for him. I'm glad they got their justice. But it went on so long, and I just think how much money went into just chasing this guy and how he was able to pull it off. Just like, I mean, that goofy-looking guy somehow dodged the law enforcement.
For a lot of you watching this, if you're not from Eastern Kentucky, you might not sort of understand. Eric C. Conn in the mountains, especially in Northeast Kentucky, is a name that everyone knows.
Billboards everywhere.
Exactly. You might think of like the heavy hitter or someone. Eric C. Conn is almost a legend, and I think this has added to some mythology about him. People have told me a long time, in Eastern Kentucky, people kind of like outlaws, and I think Eric C. Conn, there's a little bit of that here.
This is a guy people will be talking about years from now as this mythological creature way back in the day that dodged the government.
It is pretty amazing. So Eric C. Conn caught in Honduras. Now we switch gears to the UK football team as they are getting ready for their battle at the Music City Bowl against Northwestern. The opening line came out. Northwestern is a 6.5-point favorite, one of the heavier favorites amongst the major teams in bowl games. Recently, the SB Nation ranked the 40 bowl games 1 to 40 in terms of watchability. And Drew Franklin, they have Kentucky Northwestern listed as the third least watchable bowl game of all. Let's start with the line. Are you surprised Northwestern opened as a heavy favorite?
I thought they'd be favored. That does seem a little bit high, but then I checked, there's a website that does computer predictions.
Yes,
and it has
Oddshark.
Oddshark has Northwestern winning 39-19.
It's not good.
So I don't know what all goes into how they predict that, but they're very confident Northwestern will win by a lot.
I was a little surprised by the amount because I do think Kentucky and Northwestern match up well. Northwestern's 9-3, Kentucky 7-5, but Northwestern's won 3 games in overtime. Kentucky lost 2 games on the last play. So they very well could be 9-3 and Northwestern 7-5. I think these two teams are very equal to the point that if I were to gamble on it, which I won't, I would probably go with Kentucky.
Yeah, and I like that Northwestern has one of the best rush defense in the country.
Yes.
But you know who was named first team All SEC this week?
That was
Benny Snell, and I like Benny Snell against that defense.
By the way, a very surprising thing that Benny Snell was named first team All SEC. I like where Kentucky is going into this game. Now, in terms of unwatchability, do you think it's going to be as boring as the nation thinks?
I mean, I wouldn't have had it high on my list, but the third worst. I mean, it's a SEC school.
The only games worst were Southern Miss, Florida State, and Temple, Florida International.
People were more interested in the Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl than this one. I mean, Northwestern ended the season with 7 wins. Kentucky's a big SEC school. Thought it'd be a little higher on the list.
Yeah, I did too, but alas, no. Now switching gears to a story that actually came out the end of last week. John Calipari gave his usual comments to the Rotary Club of Lexington, an entity talked about how stressful the Kentucky job is. We hear that all the time. But he actually went further and said the job is so stressful that he thinks he doesn't want to hang around too long and make Kentucky fans not like him, suggesting that retirement might come sooner rather than later. The Herald Leader has now speculated, when could that happen? Drew, we have this conversation a lot. Will Cal leave? Will he won't? I think most people now believe that if John Calipari leaves Kentucky, it will be to retire. When do you think it happens?
With Brad here, we're going to see through Brad, so that's another 2 years after he finishes this season.
Correct.
Then I think he starts thinking about it. Selfishly, I want him here forever, but I mean, just look at how much he's aged since he's been here. The man just goes and goes and goes, and it's weighing on him.
There's a lot of people Cal, one of them, who says that this is a 10-year job, that you can't do more than 10 years. Tubby was here 10 years. I believe Joe B. Hall was here around 10, maybe 11, something like that. I think there's something to that in some ways, where that 10 years, once you get to that point, people start to get a little rowdy. And I will say, if he waits till the end of Brad Calipari, that would be 10 years. So you could see that potentially being the case.
And honestly, if he did it that long and left, I wouldn't blame him. I'd be grateful for what he did. Obviously, I want him to stay forever, but the man just does so much. Kentucky is already one of the toughest jobs there is, and he takes it even farther by speaking at these Rotary events. Every night he is doing something.
You're exactly right. I think it'll be interesting to see that last year that we're talking about, which would be the 2019 recruiting class. Now, I know this is very early, but 3 of the top 4 players in the country all seem to be saying we'll likely go to Kentucky. That could end up being like his best recruiting class ever. You could see that being like a sayonara. I still think he stays longer than that. I don't know that he can stop coaching.
Yeah, I think he'll go a little bit longer, and I will say whenever he does decide to retire, he's going to need a couple more banners up there.
And it's going to be very hard to replace him, don't
Impossible.
you think? Now, a person who's going to have a bad next few months is former Kentucky player coordinator Leon Smith. He worked at Kentucky under Tubby and Billy Gillespie, and he has now pled guilty to many counts of fraud with the federal government. It all stems from him stealing money from Josh Harrelson and other players as their representative once they finished Kentucky. This is a terrible story. He ended up taking over $1 million, according to the government, from Josh Harrelson and others, and most of them will never see it again.
Yeah, Leon was a little before my time of being on the UK coverage, but from everything I've heard that people knew him and worked around him, this was completely unexpected.
People never saw it.
Nothing but good words about him.
I knew him a little bit. He seemed like the greatest guy. All kinds of players in that little era, the Patrick Patterson area, Darius Miller, a lot of those guys really trusted him. Some of them ended up using him, and he abused that trust, and he will be sentenced, and I believe I read that it is a minimum of 2 years in prison. This is a guy who was a coach here at Kentucky, alas.
There was talks of him being AD possibly one day.
There was. I'm glad that didn't happen.